is a huge honor today to be podcasting Deb Patel from the United Kingdom, and you're in Kent, United Kingdom. Now, where is that in relation to London?
It's about half an hour out from London in the suburbs.
So it's basically a suburb of London.
Yeah.
And you're a townie, and so thank you for sharing an hour with me today. And what do you want to talk about to dentists today? You got 5,000 dentists listening to you right now from around the world. What's new with you?
So my partner Amit and I have created a network called Dental Circle. It's the UK's largest and first professional network where people can showcase their work, their portfolio, their pictures of their work. They can also connect with professionals in the area or within the UK. They can get help and advice from mentors. And they can also connect with potential employers to get jobs. So they become more employable because they're showing off more of their work and their actual highlights of their career on an online network, which is in the UK very unheard of. So we're kind of bridging the gap for the digital era, so the young guys out there can get more exposure online rather than having their own websites, and they can start to re-network within the UK.
Now, how is that different? There's another big social network in the United Kingdom by a periodontist. My name's lapsing me. What's his name? I can see his.
It's called Dental Tubules by Drew Shaw.
Yeah, Dental Tubules by Drew Shaw.
That's
awesome guy. So how are you different than Drew Shaw?
That's a video education website. So they put up videos of work of a procedure or educational CPD, and they show people on the network that. Our one's more of a networking website where you actually network with people. So we have a profile for every single member, and each profile is got a lot of information about the person. So if you want to see someone who you may want to hire or you may want to work for in the future, you've got all that information on one profile, from their picture to their portfolio of their work, their before and after photographs. You've got their CPD log, so you can see what course they've been on to. You can see where they graduated from, what years they worked, where they've worked in the past, everything, which is completely different to an educational style video library, which is what Dental Tubules is like.
And how's it going? How long has it been up, and how's it going?
It's been up for about 7 months. We're having a party tomorrow, actually, for our kind of summer party. So it's our kind of first party we've been doing. We've got about 3,000 members. 3,000 members in the UK, which are all GDC registered. So we are completely focusing on just the UK, and they have to have a GDC number, which is your professional number you get when you graduate, to go on the website. So it's a secure network. So if you want to talk about cases, rather than put up on Facebook and saying, hey, look at my new crown I just did on this patient, and getting 100 comments from all your colleagues, which is obviously in the public eye and unprofessional, we're doing it on a network which is secure. So only the dental profession can look at it and discuss cases together. So it's a bit more secure that way.
So I got listeners, every country from around the world listens to these things. So if you're from another country, is it closed off to them, or can someone join? At
the moment, it's closed off, but we are going to go international within probably a year's time, and then we'll have a separate network per country. So the next one's America.
So you said it's like LinkedIn.
Yeah. So it's.
So I imagine most of the viewers aren't on LinkedIn. Most dentists are on Facebook. They're not really on LinkedIn. So describe what LinkedIn is and what it's like, and how yours is like LinkedIn.
So Facebook is social. That's your social network where you can go put up your friends' photographs, your weekends out, your nights out, whatever, your holidays. That's your social life. We want to get all of our network on a professional network, which is just clinical dentistry, professional network. You can talk about cases, jobs, new things going on within the industry about dentistry. So you can have 2 different networks. Whereas LinkedIn is a network which is really good, but it's more for people who are in the city, who want to start headhunting, and it's not really something that you can use for dentistry, because if you want to hire someone in dentistry, what do you look at? Their portfolio, their work. You see their photographs, before and after photographs, what degrees they've been to, that kind of stuff. And you don't really get that same kind of feel from LinkedIn. And to be fair, no one's on LinkedIn in the UK anyway, in dentistry. Most people in the industry are on LinkedIn. dentists aren't, because they don't see benefit from it. So we create a network where it's just a very tight, closed network, only for professionals to discuss stuff and obviously network between each other.
And what and is it successful? I mean, is it meeting your
Yeah,
expectations? Is
well,
going like you thought it would?
yeah, I mean, me and Amit, we're both full-time dentists, so we both work 6 days a week. So get fitness in as well as obviously working 6 days a week is difficult. And we do other things well. We submit cases for award shows. We're doing master's degrees, all those other things as well. So it's a lot of time. I mean, we're not doing it full time. You see, we're doing it as much as we can after work for 6 hours every single day after work. But it's time consuming. So we're doing as much as we can, and we're doing really well, we think, because our target for the first year was 2,500 members, and we're only 3 quarters in a year now, and we've got 3,000 members. So we've already hit our targets. Our sponsors are loving the site, and it's the first of its kind because we're aiming for young dentists. So if you're a company in the UK and you want to market towards young dentists, or you want to get in a network of young dentists, there's nowhere else to find it apart from where we are. So we've got a kind of complete niche there. And it's the first of its kind in, I think, most countries even in the world. I don't think there's any kind of networks out there.
Now,
But
of your 3,000 dentists, and UK has what, 22,000 dentists?
yeah,
22,000 dentists. Do you think younger dentists, like how old are you?
I'm 26.
Do you think I'm 52. Do you think a 26-year-old is more likely to do this than a 52-year-old?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
We're not aiming to get the older market on there. We want to get the young dentists on there because the the main benefits of the site are networking to get jobs. So if you're young, you want to get jobs, getting advice from mentors and cases to get to progress your career. That's for young dentists who are learning, and also to find out which events to go to and what courses to go to, which young dentists are wanting to go to. So we're all aiming our stuff towards young dentists. We are doing a jobs board, which is going to be a unique kind of jobs board because it's going to have, in the UK, there's only one jobs board, which is called BDJ Jobs Board, and it's very bland in terms of it only has a couple of lines about the job on a very bland old website. We're going to have a jobs board where you can see who you're working for before you even go there. You can see their profile, where they've worked, what degrees they've got, everything about them. So it's going to be more interactive. So that could be for the older market, but we're mainly targeting under 35-year-olds. That's our key market, and 70% of our users are under age of 35. So that's where we actually, it's working quite well.
I want to ask you a question. You're in obviously everybody living in every country is living in changing times, but I am graduating in 87, and in 87 it seemed like all the dentists. I think there was about, when I got out of school, I think there's about 14,000 dentists in the UK, and they were all NHS dentists, and it was all good. And seriously, I mean, it's been getting the whining, complaining, bitching about it is getting growing more and more and more, and more people are dropping out of being NHS dentists. And I would say the majority of NHS dentists are just are doing some NHS, some private, some cash. So for you young guys walking out in your 20s, what do you think of NHS dentistry from when it started to now, and where do you think it's going over the next 10 or 20 years? I mean, what is your prediction for the past UK dental market, the last 2 decades, and what do you think is in store for it for the next 2 decades in your career?
It's a good question, Howard. Well, my brother's a dentist as well, and I've got family dentists. I know how it's been working for the last 20 odd years. And
Your dad's a dentist.
No, my brother is, and I've
Your
got
brother
cousins and uncles who are, yeah.
Okay, brother, cousin. So it's a genetic gene in your family that
All
you're
in good.
passing it on from.
If you're a Patel, you've got 3 options in life: to become a dentist, a pharmacist, or a doctor. That's it. You choose one of 3. That's why so many friends are dentists, right?
I can't even count how many friends I have who's the dentist last name Patel. I mean, I couldn't even count them all.
Too many. But what I've seen over the years is that you're right. The reason why there's more people whining is because it's becoming more and more difficult to get jobs, good quality jobs. The UK had obviously the same thing happen to America, the recession 5-6 years ago. And when it happened, it really hit the NHS hard because the government didn't want to put any more money in the NHS because they didn't have any money to give to the rest of the country anyway. So what happened was NHS dentists was the first one that said no more funding for you guys for the next 20 odd years, basically. So for the last 5 years, everyone's competing for the only contracts out there, which are a handful. So if you've got a contract, you can have a practice under the NHS. If you haven't got a contract, you can't. So
Wow. Okay. Be more specific. You're saying in the 2008 Lehman's Day
yeah,
financial collapse that the British government. Do you call it the British government or the United Kingdom government? What do you actually call it?
whatever you want to call it.
British,
Yeah,
United Kingdom, British, the same
yeah.
thing. You said they just said we're not going to fund any new providers for the NHS, or they cut existing funding for existing NHS providers.
New providers, new providers. They didn't
Really?
say,
So
yeah,
they just said if you got a contract, keep it, but no new ones.
no. So that's why the goodwill values for these contracts have gone up ridiculously. So I don't know, in America, you guys pay 60%, 70% goodwill for your practices purchase. In the UK, it's about 200%, 250%. So you're paying 2.5 times that goodwill value for a contract, which is doing just, amalgams and crowns and stuff on NHS, which is not even good, not amazing dentistry even. So you're really, really struggling to get a good job. So these days, as an associate, when you come out of university, you become a self-employed associate, right? And when you come out of university, you do your VT, your training year, and then you can work under an NHS. Now, every single year, that amount of money you get as an associate is going down and down and down and down. Because the way it works in NHS, you get paid per UDA, which is a unit of dental activity. So say if you do 1 crown, for example, you get 12 UDAs. If you do 1 filling, you get 3 UDAs.
Three.
3. So if you do, you get roughly around £10 per UDA as an associate. Every single year, it's going from £10 to £9 to £7 to £6. Now it's getting to the point where you're pretty much working less than a high will get paid for.
But can you? But okay. So what would the tell us a fee of a crown and a filling on NHS
For the patient or for the dentist?
for both.
So a patient
What
would
do you charge a patient in the NHS?
there's fixed fees. There's 3 bands. Band 1 is just for your exams, hygiene, cleans, X-rays. That's £18.90.
What's £18.90? £18?
That's for the band 1. Yeah. So if you're doing any exams or any X-rays, it all comes under one band, and you only get paid £18.90. That's what the patient pays.
What
The
is
dentist,
18? Oh, you're using £18.90?
yeah. So
Okay, so you're
£18, 90 pence.
okay. You're saying 18 to 19 pounds. Okay, let's make it simple. We'll say 18 pounds for a exam or X-ray. Is
Yeah.
that also a cleaning?
Yeah.
Okay, and it's 18 pounds for each one. An exam. 18 pounds for an exam.
Everything.
18,
That's all you
18
get.
pounds for an exam, cleaning, and X-ray.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm sorry, I'm so ignorant, but what is a pound to a US dollar? Probably 80% of our listeners are Americans.
Okay. So it's one pound is normally about 1.7, $1.6.
Okay,
Sorry. So £1 is $1.60.
okay, 1 pound is a dollar. Okay, so that was band one, and what's band two?
Band 2 is when you have so you don't get paid for per treatment, you get paid for the whole band. Say if I do 1 filling, I'll get paid, you know, whatever so what I'm telling you now, the £18 is what the patient pays, okay? The patient will pay £50.50 for band 2, and they'll pay £219 for band 3. You follow me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? That was the patient pays. Now, we get paid by the government for a contract. So the government will pay us whatever a fee in the contract is. So each practice has got different contracts. So each practice will have a different amount of money per UDA. So for example, say in band 1, you get 1 UDA. Yeah? That 1 UDA, the government may give the practice £25. And then the associate will take home £9. Does that make sense? So half,
Mm-hmm.
roughly around less than half, actually, about 40% of it. Yeah. So if I was doing a filling, which is £50.50 per the patient paying it, the government will give me 3 UDAs. It's always 3 UDAs. And if it's 3 UDAs, I'll get 3 times 9, so £27 for that. That's what I take home for 1 filling. But if I do 20 fillings, I'll get paid the same amount of money anyway. So if someone comes in with 20 fillings, I'll get paid £27. That's it. You see? So there's a lot of problems in the UK where people are saying, Why would I want to do 20 fillings? I'll do one filling for now, do another filling the year after, another filling the year after, and get paid each time. That's what happens. And unfortunately, the government has put in root canals and extractions in band 2, which is the same amount of money. So if you've got a choice, someone coming in with a upper 8 or an upper 7 needs a root canal, what are you going to do? A root canal for 1.5, 2 hours? Or are you going to do an extraction for the same amount of money? It's a very bad dilemma. And unfortunately, because it's so busy and patients, they don't know better, a lot of dentists out there are unfortunately taking teeth out rather than doing root canals because they think it's the same amount of money, same band 2. Why do I want to waste 2 hours when I can take tooth out? And if it's band 3, if you have to do 3 or 4 crowns, you only get paid 12 times £9, which is, just over £100 for, 1, 2, 3, 4, however many crowns you need. So because of that, there's a very, unethical system going on in the UK where people are doing what's best financially and what's minimal for the patient at the time and the place. So
okay, so you and I are dentists, and we know you and I are dentists, and we know that the way the NHS is compensating dentistry, that's just not a good system. Do you think that amount of craziness affects the other physicians that are doing the rest of the body, heart, lung, brain, the rest of the human body? Do you think their systems equally kind of
not
crazy
as
like
bad,
that?
because with other systems, there's obviously when it comes to medical stuff, there's a whole team of doctors doing each stage by stage. So you kind of see someone for your scans, who's your specialist in radiography. Then you see someone for your consultation appointment. Then you see someone for your treatments, and they'll get paid well enough to do what they would do. And normally they're specialists or consultants of what they do. In the UK dentistry, because there's so many dentists out there, basically the government hasn't got enough money to fund what we want. Financially, it's a triangle. So you've got a patient, the funding from the government, and what we do. And unfortunately, there's no win-win for all of them, because the patient wants, everything white, white crowns, white fillings, the best at anything. Specialist endo, specialist perio. And then you've got the dentists who want to do the best work, but they want to get paid for it. The government say we can't pay for it, so no, there's no win-win situation for anyone, I'm afraid. Everyone knows it's the way it is, but we do the best we can for what the system we've given, And they're changing the system in 2 years' time to a new contract, which is going to be even more difficult for dentists, because it's going to be a system of traffic light system. So if you come into the practice as a patient, you're put in a computer system straight away, algorithm, and it goes red, amber, and green. If you've got a bad mouth, bad perio, lots of holes, you're red. Until you go to amber and green, you can't get any fillings or any kind of long-term definitive treatment. The dentist then has to spend an extra 6 to 8 weeks per patient doing preventative treatments and hygiene stuff before they get paid for anything even. So you're putting another 3 months of work on top of what you're getting paid now, and getting paid less overall anyway. So it's actually making it even harder for dentists to make any kind of living, So it's becoming more and more tougher, actually. The government wants high quality. We want more money, and they're not giving us more money, so they're trying to squeeze out more out of us, So people are trying to do more private work and move to the private sector. But as a new dentist, when you're coming out of university, you haven't got any kind of portfolio. You've got no courses. Who's going to hire you fully privately? No one's going to hire you. So how do you get hired? You've got a network. You've got to get your portfolio of your work before after photographs. The whole point of the circle is to get networking, right? So that's the whole idea behind it.
So being young, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, energetic, handsome, look at all that hair. You look like Elvis Presley with that hair. What are you bullish on your future dentistry there in the United Kingdom? And more specifically, what other dental reimbursement insurance systems are you familiar with from around the world? Because the one thing I have to say about London, my God, The neatest thing about London is, if you go to Vietnam, they're all Vietnamese. You go to Korea, they're all Korean. You go to Japan, they're all Japanese. You go to London, my God, every single person is from a different country around the world. You can be sitting in a restaurant and hearing five different languages going on. So
Yeah,
someone said to me, "What is the most international city in the world?" It has to be London. Hell, the British Empire used to have 68 countries flying its flag. What other systems around the world do you think are better? I mean, what system do you see any systems in another country, whether it be in
yeah.
Europe or what systems do you think are
I think
better?
I think America and Australia have got a good system going on, because it's private insurance. The patients get private dentistry, which means that they're going to get better materials. They're going to get some more time spent on them. They're going to get you know a system where there's no limits in terms of who you can refer to, when you can refer to them, what treatments you can do. You've got more control over what you do yourself, and you get reimbursed. So the patient doesn't pay the whole thing themselves. They pay for 30%, 20% of whatever they pay for it, and the dentist gets paid what they want. So it's kind of a win-win. You get quality, the dentist gets paid enough money. Patients are used to paying a lot of money, so they only pay what they have to pay for the extra excess amount. But it's the way it is, right? And from what I know and what I've seen in America, is I've got cousins in California, got practices all over there, and their work is, you look at their general patient base, everyone's got white fillings, nice crowns, good perio, it's all stable. In the UK, you see practices in here, you'll be like, whoa, everyone's got amalgams everywhere, chipping all over the place. There's like 4 or 5 retained roots in there just because everyone's staging the treatments according to what works for the dentist. So they'll do one extraction a year to get paid for it per year rather than doing it all in one go. So, there's a lot of unhealthy valves out there. And I mean, don't get me wrong, dentistry is amazing. It's the only system in the world where, you can get pretty much treatment free of charge or seen as soon as possible, really quickly, and it's government paid. But as a limit, there's always going to be a limit, isn't there? Because it's government funded. So unless the government's, printing money, you're never going to get the best out of all three of the worlds. Dentistry, I think, has to be private around the world and has to be reimbursed by insurance companies to a level where patients can afford it. But the dentist gets paid enough so they get happy and they can do the work they want to do and they enjoy it.
Are you familiar with any other? You said United States and Australia, so that's two other continents. What about in your own continent, Europe? Do you like any? Do you understand any of those systems over there, whether it be Italy, France, Germany,
There's,
Sweden?
there are some good ones in Sweden. I know that Sweden especially have got a good government system going on where they pay the dentist a lot of money for the treatment. So there's a good service of a good level of healthcare, and obviously it's good for tax there as well because of reasons that you know about. But I mean, I haven't spoken to other people apart from Italy and Sweden and Spain. But the problem with those countries as well is that they all have the issues of not issues, but they're not as well. It's hard to say because they're just good because in the NHS there's a specialist network where you can refer to, and you can do a lot of good courses in the UK. Obviously, there's good learning dental schools here. There are good schools around the rest of Europe as well. But from what I understand, everyone who comes from UK universities end up being at a very good level, almost above the rest of Europe. I'm not saying that's quite generalized, but everyone that I've spoken to from other countries say, oh, UK dentistry is really good. Your teaching's really good. Because obviously it is. The consultants in the UK are very, very good consultants, and they teach you from university quite good stuff. But then again, you go to America and you're like, we're like here and you guys are there. So, we're still way far behind in terms of the
And
general country.
and you
Like,
you believe that? And why do you
yeah.
believe that? Do you think that's true? Is
I
that
think
perception? Is that
that's
reality?
I think it's true. Is as a whole, if you put the whole of America and against the whole of the UK, and you work out the level of dentistry, what's been going on in terms of how advanced you are technology, and I mean, we know because I mean, I do a lot of private dentistry and cosmetic work here, and when we find out, it's about 5 years after America's found out, and it comes over here afterwards. Like, a setup will come out there 5 years ago, and over here, like, oh look, setup machine's out now, and we always get the second hand stuff from America. That's the way it is, isn't it? Because everyone knows the American market is the private market to start off with a product. You go there, make it big there, and then you come to UK afterwards. Um, but just generally, the level of dentistry in America, because it's all private, people have that time to spend with patients. They have incentive to do the best dentistry they can without any kind of financial constraints. In the UK is opposite. Is opposite.
So what are the biggest dental manufacturers out of the United Kingdom, and what products do they make? What are the biggest names over there?
We've got Henry Schein over here, which is obviously an American company.
Well,
Uh,
that's a distributor. I mean, as far
oh,
as
okay.
making a product. I mean, what are the most famous products made in the United Kingdom? Any come to mind?
Most of them are from other countries, like implant systems like Straumann from Germany. Uh, Heraeus composites. They're not made in the UK. There's not many UK developed products. They're all distributors from American companies. The majority of them.
So
You won't find many things made here.
so you come. There's other dentists in your family. You said brothers, uncles, cousins. You said some of them live in California.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I'm gonna pin down on that. We keep hearing that the way bleaching is sold and legal in the United States, that it's
yeah,
not
it's
really
different.
that way in the United Kingdom. Explain that. Explain the bleaching dilemma.
So, 3 years ago, the EU made a new law saying you can't sell or use any bleaching products above 6% hydrogen peroxide. Okay, so if it's anything containing more than 6% hydrogen peroxide, you can't use it, you can't sell it, you can't do anything with it, you can't buy it here. And I know you guys use 40% all the time, don't you? So it's a bit different over here. And because of that, in-house whitening has just kind of gone down the drain now. Everyone's doing home whitening, which is not bad, but it takes a lot longer to get good results. Is
Okay,
what the
I'm
guys do.
confused because you said the EU, but United Kingdom is not part of the EU.
The EU legislation still applies to the UK legislation as well.
To healthcare,
Yeah,
but because you're not on the EU
yeah,
currency,
yeah. We're not in
right?
the currency, but legislation in the EU counts to all the countries, including the UK.
So the United Kingdom has signed on to the EU. They'll
Legislation.
adopt some
I'm not too
legislation,
sure exactly which ones count, but this is definitely one of them. I
but
think the
healthcare counts.
I think the medical directives is the one that they've signed up to, which I think is the whole of the EU, including the UK, and they all have to kind of follow by those rules. So yeah.
But so now, not to get too off topic, but are you kind of glad that your country stayed with the British pound and didn't join the euro? Because
Yeah,
every
definitely.
time Greek threatens to default, the euro's going crazy. And living over there in that continent, because a lot of Americans are scared because the whole 2008 financial crisis was caused in Manhattan when it started with Lehman Brothers defaulting, and they were crazy leveraged and out of control, and it really hurt the country. And now it looks like in 2015, here we are, 7 years later, the whole damn thing could unravel again because of Greece. What is your prediction living in that continent? I'm sure you get better news and information than we do.
Um, I very much, you never we'll get back tomorrow, won't we? What happens? But you know, I mean, no, sorry, but I personally can't see the Greece defaulting. Because I don't think the EU will let them default because they know what will happen. Everyone knows that everything will just completely collapse again. So I think the EU will just buckle down eventually. Be like, look, we have to bail them out. We have to bail them out again.
So you're
Because
buying in. You're buying into the too big to fail problem. It's
yeah,
too big of a problem to let
I
it
know,
happen.
I know it's obviously ironic because they're so Labour involved, it's too big to fail. But I think after we learned what happened our first time round, I think we can do it again. And it's a country. It's not like it's a bank or anything. It's a big country. If that goes down, it's going to be a
And
huge knock-on effect.
and then I want to ask you another cultural dental question. When you watch movies and media, things like that, a lot of we kind of hear a lot of countries outside the United States think Americans are kind of look like a clown with their two white teeth, too big a
Hollywood
breast
white smile,
augment.
yeah.
Yeah, and do Europeans in general think the white, bright, bleach, veneer American look is just silly, or do they like it? Do they think it looks like a clown? Talk about the cultural differences
I think
between.
every time I see a patient coming in, they literally say to me, "Oh, I don't want to be like Hollywood white smile. I just want to have natural white smile." So there are a few celebrities who obviously are probably linked with LA and America because they're celebrities, who want to have that really bright white, shining, gleaming Hollywood smile, like beyond B1. But in the UK, generally, patients want to have natural-looking white smiles. So A1, B1 is what they were looking for.
A1 or B1?
Yeah.
A1 or B1? And what would you say
You,
so you said the UK would rather go for an A1 or a B1?
yeah,
And what would
B1.
you say the Americans in Hollywood are going for?
Do you guys use a Vita Shade Guide, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you know the bleach shade guide for the Vita shade guide, that bleach one, that's the one you guys look at, right?
yeah.
Like BXL and BL, whatever it's called, you know.
So the United Kingdom and is basically saying that's too much. That's too much.
Too
They
much.
kind of want to tone down a little bit from that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and would you say that's the rest of Europe too? Is anybody in Europe going for that Hollywood bleached out look?
Not really. I mean, even in Italy and places of a bit more, you know, fashion and into looks, cosmetics and stuff. There's not many like toilet bleach white kind of looking teeth. They're all looking like a bit more natural B1 A1 shades for their age anyway. That's generally what I see anyway. I haven't been on the whole of Europe to know
I
exactly
think
what
it's
your
funny
teeth look like.
when you're in Asia, East Asia, when you're in like China, around China, in that region, the good looking movie star Hollywood people are the Koreans. And when you're in China, if you're wearing something really fancy, someone will say, "Oh, you're looking Korean." You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
they
yeah,
they think and if you think about it, think of the musicians and the singers out of Korea. You know, the big hair, the big glasses, the big dances, and the
yeah.
Koreans kind of Hollywood. So being on both sides of the pond and with social media, um, what other differences do you think there are between on different sides of the pond that you perceive? Because you got family, Dennis, in California,
Sure.
and you're there, and you're younger, and you're brighter on social media and all that stuff.
Um,
What do you think are other major differences?
I think obviously everyone's on Facebook and they're all on some sort of Twitter or some sort of social media in both countries. That's good. But I think the one thing that you guys have got a lot more of, and you have to have a lot more of, is you've got more marketing, you've got more websites for practices. In the UK, I think only 20% of practices have got a website. Less than 20% of practices have websites even.
Less than 20%?
Have got a website for the practice,
Wow. And why do you think that
which
is?
is, well, you got to remember, 8 out of 10 dentists, or 80% of dentists in the UK are NHS dentists. NHS, right? If you're NHS dentist with a contract, which is before it's a goldmine, you've got a list of people coming in, less, as many as you want, as much as you want, whenever you want, because it's the brand of the NHS. So there's no need to market anything. They can literally have a little sign this big on the door saying NHS dentist. Straight away, you have a queue of people outside the door, because there's so many people in the country who want to be NHS seen, and there's only so many practices that have them, that access of it, right? Whereas in America, and with patients who are privately seen here in private practices, you have to have a website. You to market yourself and to show you what your work's like and where you are and how to find you. I mean, even if you're an NHS dentist, it makes sense to have a website because it's common sense. How are you going to find a place otherwise, or how are you going to, tell them about your, opening hours or whatever else? But they haven't got them because they don't need to. They're so old school that most of them are still using handwritten notes and and no websites, all that kind of stuff. So it's slowly moving on towards more websites now, but the need for it isn't there. So people aren't really bothered with spending a couple £1,000 doing it. That's why when we did our website, we thought we want to start a new generation of dentists, which is going to be under age of 35 dentists. We want everyone to start being online, being more socially active, being more digitally aware, so they can start having a website, start marketing themselves, fill up their own kind of portfolio of their work.
So you have to be under 35 to get on your website?
They don't have to, but
That's what
we
you're
both
targeting?
we both know that who goes on Facebook 8 times a day and who goes to basic once a week.
Yeah.
They're different age group, right?
I used to
Everyone,
be 52, but I got on eBay and bought me a birth certificate, and now I'm only 28.
well, you can go on the website then. Howard, join up, join up.
I was able to buy a birth certificate, save 20 years of my life. Uh, I also want to. I think one of the times I felt bad the most that ever made me feel the saddest about something I did in dentistry was some kid listened to my 30-day dental MBA and my Virtues of Profitable Dentistry, my 1-day MBA, and he got all jazzed up and built a website and did this big marketing campaign in Hong Kong, and he didn't know, and I didn't know, it was all illegal. And as soon as he did a direct mail piece, my God, they came after him like crazy. It was all illegal. So I know bleaching over 6% is illegal. In the United Kingdom, is it legal to do direct mail to houses or a billboard or a newspaper ad, or is all that stuff legal?
Yeah, it's a good question actually, because that's very similar to Australia as well. There's very, very limited things you can do with marketing. You can only do certain very, very specific things, like have a little plaque outside the front door. There's no like marketing kind of stuff online. It's very, very tight. In the UK, it's opposite. You can do anything you want pretty much. You can have your own commercial. You can have your own radio advertisement. You can have flyer drops. You can do anything you want. The problem is that in the UK, no one's realised how good it is and how beneficial these things can be for the business. But then again, you remember, Howard, why would you want to market yourself if you've already got two people in the front door anyway?
Yeah, I always think it's funny how everyone wants freedom for themselves, but they always want to take away the freedoms of every guy around them. You know what I mean? It's like they're always for freedom. If it's like when they say, "Well, I want prayer in school." No, no, no. You want your religion's prayer in school. You don't want anybody else's religion praying in your school. And how can a free society tell a dentist that they can't talk and market and advertise what it is that they do? I mean,
I know.
I'm, I
Yeah,
have
it's ridiculous. I know.
yeah, I think it's crazy ridiculous. And some of the countries that go ahead. You were going to say something?
I was going to say, the one thing about that, though, is that you guys take it quite far, though. Do you know, I mean, I'm not going to mention names, but I know some dentists who come over here and do marketing talks and stuff like that about the US. And they do like actual commercials saying how bad other dentists in the area are and how good they are. So it gets to the point where you're actually going, oh, don't go to that practice, come to my practice because we're much better than them guys down the road. So it gets quite
They do that
competitive.
in the United Kingdom?
In America, apparently,
Oh,
in
in
Texas.
America. Oh, in
Yeah, yeah.
Texas. That
You do like advertisements and stuff like that, and quite cheesy ones as well. Like come get your teeth whitened and come see us, and it gets a bit too far. I
Well,
think.
you know what, I can say though about that I believe is the biggest misconception of the United States, because I've lectured to dentists in 50 countries, and you know what I
Sure.
think the biggest misconception is of America abroad is that when an American thinks of Europe, they don't mix up England versus Portugal or Spain or Greece or Germany. I mean, they just see all these different countries
Sure. Yeah.
under the EU. America is the same thing. I mean, it's like 20 different countries. I mean, you just
Yeah.
can't compare Alaska to LA. You
Oh
can't
no, no, no,
compare
yeah,
New
yeah.
Orleans to Wichita. You can't compare Miami to New York City. I mean, when I go around the United States, it is literally a dozen
Different
different
country.
countries. And
Wow.
in fact, one of the things that I have an MBA from ASU, and one of the biggest red flags that I quit listening to someone's business knowledge is they start telling me about the U.S. economy, and they start naming all these figures for 330 million people. The really elite information, they'll break it down by regions. So yeah, so the United States, I guarantee you, like
Yeah. So
Dennis.
that was very vague and very ambiguous. I mean, obviously, it's completely different in different areas.
Oh
I
yeah.
was talking about a surgery practice in Dallas, I think, but yeah, you're right. It's a completely different ball game. Where I mean, New York is obviously you start seeing high end cosmetic makeovers, and I'm sure you went to Alaska. It's none of that kind of stuff. It's all basic dentistry. I don't know. I can't really start. You're the expert in America anyway, so
Yeah, the United States, I mean, it's just like Europe. I mean, it's just a huge region, very, very broad, very diverse. I actually was born in the middle of the country in Kansas.
oh yeah,
Now I'm out here in the Southwest in the desert, Phoenix. So I spent half my life in the Midwest, Kansas, and half out in Phoenix. And just between those two places is literally two different countries. And so I want to ask you about the NHS. Do they cover dental implants and
uh,
Okay, so
so it's only basic dentistry.
okay, so
Uh,
what if someone comes in? Because what I'm thinking is like a bait and switch. So you're an NHS provider and you're doing all that fee schedule, but you might be able to make a lot of money by
private
converting a
work.
lot of those people to like high end implants instead of a 3 unit bridge or veneers. Or is there a lot of that going on?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's where a huge market has really kind of exploded in the last 5, 6 years or since. So this contract that we're in now, where it's the band one, band two, band three, 7 or 8 years ago, it used to be could be different. for 10 years. It used to be you get paid for what you did. So you do one filling, you get paid for it. Every time filling, you get paid for each filling. So back then, it used to be all just NHS, NHS, NHS. Everyone loved it because you can just do a filling, get paid, do a filling, get paid. Now, because it's the system that we've discussed now, it's going to be different ball games. People are now starting to do a lot more private options, offering it to the patients, and they're going for. I mean, because they can't do implants on the NHS, they could do implants privately, but you're being seen as an NHS patient. If you want to get a cosmetic layered filling in the back of the mouth, you can get it done privately, or if you want to get like a Emax, high end anterior crown, you get it done privately. So there's options where you can do private, but then it gets messy because you don't know, not because the NHS says you can do anything on the NHS really apart from implants. So you can't really win as a dentist. You get told off otherwise. So you got to be very careful about what you say and how you can and what is available, what's not available. But essentially, anything clinically necessary is available on the NHS. Anything cosmetic isn't. That's how you kind of differ between the two.
One thing that it reminds me of talking about is talking about the American system of private insurance versus the UK system government. I just want to say all of yours, if you're looking for intellectual banter or thought or different data points, it's kind of interesting because America is a very old world private healthcare insurance system, which is very expensive, by the way, for the whole country as a whole. I mean, they spent a lot of dollars there. And then after World War II, like 20 countries started insurance. After World War II, probably 25. But what most of the experts I listen to say is that the smartest systems are the newest, youngest systems, which is only 10 years old, which is Taiwan and Singapore. So they got to see what everyone else is doing, study the bejesus out of it. And most people, like Fareed Zakari, have you seen him on CNN, Fareed Zakari? He's just a really sharp journalist and all that stuff. He actually thinks those systems are absolutely the best system ever simply because they're the youngest, newest systems. So they got to learn from all the countries after,
Definitely,
56 years old.
It's like any country though, Howard. You go to Australia, for example, and you look at the infrastructure, the way everything's set out, the size of the roads, tiny little things. They've learned from the UK or from other countries. They've learned from the mistakes of them, and they've got the modern technology now to make it better. And because they've got a flat canvas to start, I think, from fresh. You can do anything better when
well, that might be one thing you do with your dental circle. You might be able to sit there and get a bunch of information from the younger systems like Singapore and Taiwan. Go back and say, hey, on behalf of the dentists who are going to be practicing the next few years, we got a system that dates back from 1950. And the people who studied every system in the world, this is what they come up with, and maybe you can put that in front of their noses, and maybe the decision makers will look that over.
Well, Howard, you know what? I'm completely with you. I've got a few plans of how we can change the NHS, and it's all good saying these plans and even showing evidence of other countries doing it. But the NHS system in the UK in dentistry is run by 10 or 20 very old school dentists who've been here for doing 30, 40 years of dentistry. They don't want to change that much. And if they do want to change that much, it's going to be a hell of a lot of data and evidence behind it to support it. Now, I've got a vision of actually, rather than, it's all good doing, because right now NHS is working towards having a system where they can actually clinically record and monitor each patient's outcomes and treatments and therefore pay dentists accordingly, which is in essence a good idea, but dentists aren't getting paid enough for it. I think in the next 20 years, we're going to find a lot of people are going to move out from the NHS and go to the private anyway, patients and dentists. So that's going to grow because that sector is growing anyway. It's a £5 billion sector now. It's going to keep growing and growing and growing. It grows every single year by 30% anyway, the private sector. It's going to keep growing. And because in the end of the day, there's only, unless the government decides to fund the NHS contracts a lot more and make up new contracts, there's not going to be enough anyway available. Because as the population grows, there's not enough people to see them anyway. So it's going to be a problem of access. So I think there's going to be a new system coming out, which I know is going to come out very soon, and it's in the making. And it's going to be like an NHS system, but fully private. No government backed, nothing. And patients pay a low fee for the work. Dentists will have to do a lot more volume for it, but at least that way there's no constraints, there's no limits, there's no do this by the exact system of the computer, and you actually completely eliminated that. But to change a whole country, it's going to take a lot. The UK is very stubborn.
Right, but tell your young kids this. I want you to tell your kid. Be clear on a couple of points. Number one, there's no such thing as dental insurance because basically, like, think of car insurance. Everybody pays a little, and one person wrecks their car. That's insurance. Everybody pays a little, and an actuarial risk analysis says, okay, only one guy out of 100 is going to stack their car, so everybody pays a little to go. That's insurance, spreading the risk around. Fire insurance on your house. Everybody in Kent has fire insurance on their house, but only one drunk Irish guy is smoking in bed and catches his whiskey on fire and burns the house down. Very, very rare. Dental insurance. How do you spread the risk around? 100 out of 100 people need a cleaning exam and x-ray. 100 out of 100 people eat sugars and carbohydrates. 100 out of 100 don't brush 2 minutes every morning, brush 2 minutes every night, floss before bedtime, use mouthwash, tongue care. So what they're trying to do, there's no such thing as insurance. Now, in healthcare, it's interesting. Insurance only applies to about 5 to 10% of the whole healthcare budget. You get struck with colon cancer. Your kid all of a sudden has leukemia. 90% of the cost is just people going in there with a sniffle, getting their blood pressure, getting all these chronic disease, because they're fat, they smoke, they don't exercise, and at the end of the day, we're all going to die anyway. You know what I mean? So the people that are the most successful, you can't, it's easier to change a country than it is to change yourself. And when a dentist can walk in there and they say, well, what does the insurance pay? I have a couple one-liners. I say, well, what if you were done having kids and your insurance only paid for a castration? Would you pay for a vasectomy, with cash? Someone else told me a good one the other day. If your company gives you a week's vacation, they're not paying for your plane fare and your trip to Hollywood and eating out and meals and everything. And it's a benefit. It's a dental benefit. And if a government or an employer, whether it's private or government, gives a benefit to help you, that's nice. Where governments are abusive is when they say, okay, Deb, I'll give you $18 to help this person get a filling, but it's against the law for them to chip in another $1 or $2 or $3. So that's just abuse. I mean, because that's like saying, look at all the different cars made in Europe at all the different price points. That's saying, well, the government will pay $18 and give you a Chevy, but you can't take that $18 and apply it toward a Porsche or a Mercedes or an Audi or something nicer. And that's when they're abusive. If they would just get rid of that, and we have that in America too. Oh, okay. We have private insurance that says, oh yeah, we'll pay half of a crown for a fee of $1,000, but you can't charge $1,001. And that's abuse, because that's basically saying that you're going to drag down the whole country down to the level of a Chevy, and because some people value dentistry more than others. Look at my family. Look at my family. The whole pedigree can get free dentistry, and half of them don't even care enough to get a free. I got uncles wearing dentures that could have full implants, full everything, whatever, and they're like, I don't even wear my denture. Why would I put it? So everybody values cars differently, vacations differently. Everybody values everything. And you shouldn't drag an entire country to one market level. You should let people have the freedom to pursue happiness. And maybe you want to spend all your time snorkeling, and someone else wants to spend all their time at a dental office and getting, veneers and implant. Some people are just totally into it. But so what else? What I want you to tell, since 80% of my viewers are in the United States, tell the American dentist something they don't know about dentistry in England.
Well, I can tell you about a very cool thing that I've recently read on in the UK. So there was a study done, a kind of a test in Scotland with children's dentistry. So they had, I think, 700, 800 workers go to each school in Scotland twice a day, every single day, for about 2 years to make sure they brush their teeth twice a day, actually watching them brush their teeth. Do you know how much money they saved on the national health system in Scotland in those 2 years? £5 million, which is quite a lot for up there.
Oh my God. Is there a study on that?
Yeah. There is.
Can you've been on Dental Town for a couple of years. You never made a post. Would you? Is there any chance you'd post that study on Dental Town,
Sure, we'll do. Yeah.
or email it to me, Howard at
Yeah.
dentaltown.com? I'd love to read that.
Another thing as well, Howard, is that there's this new generation of smart brushes coming out now. I'm sure you know in America you've got All-B doing an app with with their brush. Got Beam Brush doing their one. There's one in the UK called Playbrush, and I've been speaking to them recently, and I think it's going to change a lot in dentistry. Two reasons. One, if you can actually monitor each patient, child or adult, how long they buy their brush for, how many times they brush for, and you get a report of that every single week, every single day even, you can actually start to say, look, that insurance thing you said before, you deserve to be rewarded for your brushing. So you've been brushing twice a day, every day, for the last 6 months. So I'm going to give you discounts on your treatments or your hygiene things. Whereas you, mister, been only brushing once for the last once every single week. So, it's your fault that you've got these problems. So, you don't get discounts on them. So I think there's a reward program going on there, which I think is going to be really, really helpful. And I think the data that's going to change dentistry, not in the UK, but the whole world. Because if you start getting data of toothbrushing per patient and in the whole country, the whole world, everyone's got a smartphone now. Everyone's using a brush their teeth, whatever. And it's so easy because if you pick up a toothbrush on the play brush, as soon as you pick up toothbrush up, it goes onto your phone, that app pops up. It's got a game on there. You can play a game with the brush. So then you can see the game moving with the brush moving at the same time. So you can play the game, makes it more fun. The game lasts for 2 minutes. When the game's finished, you brush for 2 minutes, and it even tells you where you've been brushing, for how long, and if it's been good or bad. And that data goes to the dentist, and dentists can then work out, imagine how many studies you can do in the country about which areas have got poor oral hygiene, which ones have got better oral hygiene. Kids are not brushing well enough in these areas. The number one reason for the most people going into A&E in the UK is because of kids' tooth pain. Did you know that?
For the UK, for the emergency room?
A&E, highest reason for
What's
any
A&E
patient,
stand for? What's A&E stand for?
accident and emergency.
Okay, accident. In America, just called ER, emergency
ER,
room. But
yeah.
yours, accident and emergency?
So the highest reason for any patient to go into A&E at any age is because of children's tooth pain, because it's not brushing well enough.
Okay, what was the name of that company?
Playbrush.
Playbrush. Now, is that the one where the logo is silver with headphones on a Playbrush? Playbrush. Can you email me that, Howard at dentaltown.com?
Sure,
And to our 5,000 listeners, is there any chance you'd start a thread with that Scottish study?
Definitely, yeah.
And post this brush method. And if you email me the notes, I'll put it in the notes of your of this podcast. Because what I like to do on the my podcast is most people are multitasking on. They're driving to work, down a treadmill. They don't want to stop and write something down. So I always send off for a transcript. And on Dental Town, so there's always a transcript. So they know that I spoil my listeners so they don't have to take notes. But it was called Playbrush.
Yeah. Playbrush.
Is that playbrush.com?
It's playbrush.io.
Playbrush.io.
Yeah.
What country is IO?
It is Germany.
IO is Germany?
I think so. It's a German company. I think it's from. I don't know what IO.
I thought Germany was DU for Deutschland.
It might be Austria then.
Austria? Huh.
I don't know.
Playbrush IO. Yeah. Email me that.
Sure, definitely will do.
Okay, but I want to ask you something because you're young, you're fresh out of school. You went right to the importance of brushing 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes at night, and now there's technology with the smartphone to monitor that 2 minutes brushing, 2 minutes at night. I was wondering why you didn't go to diet, because if you're a 52-year-old dude who's been on this rock for half a century, when we were little, you were drinking out of a garden hose and cool water was refreshing. Seems like now it's all pop. It's all soda. Now, you said you're 28.
26.
26. When you talk to 50, 60-year-old dentists, do they tell you that United Kingdom, 50 years ago, used to drink a lot less Coke and soda, and is soda on the rise? Do you see it more brushing or more diet?
Well, it's a combination of both. I mean, as dentists, we both know that, the more sugar intake you have, the more likely you're going to get decay. At the same time, if you don't brush well enough, the sugar is left over the teeth for a longer period of time, and it's more likely to get decay. So, I mean, I know it's bad, but you can have as many sweets as you want, as long as you brush your teeth really well and don't leave it over for too long, a long period of time. You're not going to get decay anyway.
I know.
So brushing,
I'm the perfect example of that. I mean, I'm a
I think
fat pig.
brushing
I like
is
all my sugar
brushing.
and food.
Yeah, brushing is definitely number one because in the end of the day, I think no matter how hard we try and how much we tell patients not to eat sweets and to eat sugary drinks and give their kids that, they can do it anyway because it's so cheap. That's what happened the last 20 odd years. It's become so cheap for consumers to purchase a Coke or a sweet from a shop for so easily and so cheap. They're going to say they're going to do it anyway, no matter what we say. The only thing we can do is we can help them brush better to reduce the chance of that sugar causing decay afterwards. And I think that the study in Scotland has already shown how much beneficial it can be for the government. And if the government realizes how much money it can save by actually investing in a brush like this or prevention, which I'm trying to do at the moment, then why would they not want to do something like this? Play brush for the whole country, give out.
So do you know the owner of that Playbrush?
I do very well. Yeah,
Why don't you introduce us?
I will.
Just send us an email and CC him, and I'll get him on, and I'll have him talk about that. And why don't you? Maybe he's into that Scotland study too.
Now we're actually working together at the moment on the idea because it's been launched in a few months. So I'm helping with it quite a lot. So I'll definitely put you in touch with him, and I'll send you the article about the Scotland one as well.
Okay. Well, hey, I tell you seriously, it was an honor that it's 11:30 here in the morning, and what is London? 8 hours ahead of me.
It's 7:30.
7:30, and you're probably it's a Friday night over there.
Yeah.
So you're probably getting ready to go out and hit all the pubs right now. You're probably saying, "How can I get this old fat American off the Skype so I can go?" But hey, seriously, congratulations on entering dentistry. Congratulations on your new company, dentalcircle.com. And if someone wants to reach you, they can go to drdevpatel.com, DRDEV Patel.com, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to give out any other information, email or anything?
I mean, the other website is obviously the Dental Circle one, info@dentalcircle.com. So that's the website for the networking one. But obviously, because you're Americans, it's going to be difficult for you to get onto the website. If not, just email me from my personal website, and that's it.
Okay. But hey,
Great.
thanks again for all you
Thanks
do.
very much for your help.
I hope you post that Scotland study on Dental
Yeah,
Town.
yeah, I'll do it
Everybody needs to read that.
Yeah.
And that would be your first post.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah.
That'll be your first post.
I haven't posted because you know what? I've got so many other networks in the UK. Plus the American ones. I've got AACD as well. And then there's so many things online to do these days. You've got to do one thing at a time. There's so many things to do otherwise.
Right. We only manage people, time, and money. If you don't manage your time, if you waste too much time. People ask me, I have time for Dental Town. I say, because I don't watch TV. We're both staring at a screen. You're staring at TV. I'm staring at Dental Town.
Yeah, I don't watch TV either. I haven't got Facebook even. Can you imagine that? But
all right. Well, Dev, thank you so much. Hopefully after looking at your hair for an hour, mine will start to grow back in. And all right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.